I'm just having my morning walk, and as you can see, it's pretty quiet here on the beach, so I think fairly safe to do some social distancing. I'm just doing an update video. I've been really busy for the last 5 days with fixing work IT issues and just trying to get work done at home from my home office. So that's been taking up most of my time. I just haven't really had time to do much photography or videography. Yesterday I had to go into the office to fix this bloody IT issue that's been plaguing me. And on the way, I had to, of course, take public transport, which was pretty intense and also really interesting. Just change my arm there. This little mobile phone is getting heavy. No, only joking. So that was a really intense experience, and I had to take the train, and I had to go through some train stations, and I took my camera with me because I'm a stock photographer and that's what we do. And in Amsterdam Central Station there were some interesting coronavirus signs, and things were blocked off and closed. So I figure I've done my job as a stock photographer now with the pandemic and uploaded those photos. So the situation in the Netherlands is that the schools are closed. There's no public gatherings over 100 people. I think at this stage that could change probably. My work has closed, and I believe most offices have been advised by the government to close, and only essential staff and supermarkets and emergency services are pretty much busy. Although I've been down to the beach here and I see they're setting up the beach cafes, so the Dutch are getting on with life as normal and thinking about life after this crisis passes. So that's interesting and I suppose positive as well. So what have I been doing other than working and staying at home and keeping busy? Well, my kids are at home as well, and my partner, so we've been stuck all inside together, so we've been trying to make the best of it and going out for walks in nature and distancing ourselves from other people so we don't spread anything to them, and vice versa. So maybe just a couple of tips from me to put things into perspective for everyone and also for myself. We're in the middle of this situation, but we do have some advantages because of the times that we live in. We do have the internet, we do have TV, and we also have home delivery, which is also good. But in comparison to, say, 100 years ago when this flu epidemic broke out in 1919, there was no TV, there was no internet, and people were, stuck at home, and they had to be really creative. They did have books, so that was a good thing. But now we have lots of things available to us to keep our minds occupied. So I guess over the next 3 weeks I'll be number one, keeping busy around the house and doing jobs that I never had time to do before. And I'll also be helping my kids do some home study, hopefully. I'm hopeless at doing that myself, but I'll try and motivate them to get into it and help them where I can. I'll be looking at YouTube. If it's banned to go outside at all, then I'll be looking at YouTube exercise videos, and I'll break out my yoga outfit and do some yoga. I think my leotard is in the cupboard somewhere. I'll also be listening to some podcasts, and I think I'm going to order some books as well, just to keep my brain active. And it's also, I think, important to me because there will be times of stress, that if someone around me is stressed, then I think it's important for me not to react to that stress immediately. And if I'm stressed myself, I'll try and distance myself from the situation. And then when things have cooled off, then maybe it's time to approach that point of that trigger point that caused the stress, and deal with it when emotions are not high. Because I think when emotions are high, people do not think logically, and there is no room for empathy for the other person. So that's important for me. And I guess I was listening to George Ezra on his podcast the other day, and he was interviewing Tom Jones. And Tom Jones contracted tuberculosis in the 1950s, and his family had to isolate him in his bedroom, I think for months on end, until luckily his tuberculosis subsided. But during that time, he said how lucky he felt because his family were able to get the first colour TV. And he also, I believe, I hope I've got this fact right, he said that towards the end of his quarantine, all of his friends were coming over to watch this colour TV with him, and he had a good laugh about that. So yeah, I think in the Netherlands where I am, there's a good community spirit. We do have these technological advancements which help us get through this. And the other day at 8 o'clock at night, I heard some fireworks going off on the street, and everyone was standing on their balcony and outside their door and giving applause and clapping their hands for about 10 minutes. And I thought, what the heck is going on here? And it turned out that probably the entire population of the Netherlands were giving applause to all of the doctors and other emergency service workers who are sacrificing their health and possibly their lives to help patients of this epidemic. So there's a good spirit here in the Netherlands, and they do have a reputation for carrying on and getting on with things as well in a very kind of down-to-earth way. So that was a good example for me. Despite my Tasmanian reservations, I also embarrassed myself and stood at the door and started clapping. I felt like an idiot, but I thought, you know, these people in the minimum deserve at least some light applause from this guy. So that's it from me today. It's just a quick update. I'll be doing some more indoor photography. I'll also be lovingly taking care of my stockpile of toilet paper. And I'll just be hunkering down here in The Hague. If you guys ever feel the need to discuss your issues, then drop a comment below. I will always answer them, and we can share experiences. And from The Hague, I wish you guys all the best, and good luck in the future, and I will see you next week. All the best. Aha! Victory is mine. I've found the elusive recharging electric car. Time for some stock video and photography action.